Lisa Schenke. I'm from New Jersey, and I have 3 sons. My youngest is 19, my middle child is 22, and my oldest son, Tim, if he were here, would be nearing age 24. Sadly, Tim died by suicide at the age of 18. He was a scholar and an athlete, but he did possess low self-esteem. He was very high functioning and through high school remained at the top of his class, but I believe he was self-medicating with marijuana. On Saturday, April 26, 2008, Tim stepped in front of a train. His suicide was not completely out of the blue, but still very unexpected. The reason it was not a complete surprise was that Tim had confessed to me once and only once, 3.5 months earlier, that he wanted to take his life. But during that 3.5 months, he remained highly functioning and convinced 7 different professionals, inpatient and outpatient, that he wasn't suicidal. My initial reaction to his death was probably one of numbness. I knew there was a long list of things I had to do, and I just plowed my way through them. But thankfully, I was able to take the support from others, hugs, crying with people, and I think that helped me to open up my feelings. My priority at the time of Tim's death was the happiness and health of my other 2 children, and it still is, and I believe that's what got me out of bed in the morning in the beginning, until I was able to function better and realize that I'm a happy life for myself as well. I was very approachable, always talking to people, and maybe one of my earliest signs that I was going to be a communicator was that I wrote a letter to the editor of our local newspaper just 10 days after Tim died, just trying to explain as best I could the type of person he was and what I could shed on the situation. I continued to talk to people who are struggling, parents, etc. And early on after Tim's death, I chose to embrace life. I was involved with many groups and in many activities toward that end. Eventually, I decided I had enough to say that I was going to write a book, and the book addresses my recovery during the early years as well as Tim's issues. Writing the book it's called Without Tim. It's been very healing for me, and I think very helpful to others. Looking back, my main regret is the obituary. For some reason, I just could not find the time or energy to do that. Our mortician ended up writing it. And whenever I look at obituaries, I feel I wish it had been more personal. When speaking to people with a recent loss, I highly recommend they see a grief counselor. I was very fortunate to bond with my grief counselor, and the message I like to share, the most strongest message that I feel I received from working with him, was when you feel happiness, to grasp onto it and try to accept it, even though it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel good. But the more you allow yourself to hold on to it, the more it'll become a regular part of your day. I also encourage people with a recent loss to focus in 2 areas, to try to allow your friends in. They really want to help, and it will help you a lot if, just push yourself a little bit to try to rely on them. And the other is to find a passion, something that you really love to do, and make the time for it. For me, it's bicycle riding. I wish all who are grieving strength and patience in your recovery.